Admiral's log. The war of attrition has taken a significant toll on the Chinese Navy. Our shipyards and wharves are overflowing with damaged vessels, leading to inevitable delays in getting our ships back to sea. The strain on our resources and the continuous need for repairs have stretched our capabilities thin. Despite these challenges, our resolve remains unbroken. The plans for invasions continue unabated. We've shifted our focus to a coordinated effort between the Navy and the Army to conquer Italian territories in East Africa. This strategic pivot allows us to maintain pressure on our adversaries and secure valuable resources without overextending our already taxed fleet. The collaboration with the Army has breathed new life into our campaign. Together, we're advancing through East Africa, systematically dismantling Italian defenses and establishing a foothold in the region. This approach not only disrupts Italian control, but also strengthens our strategic position across the whole continent. The road ahead remains fraught with challenges, but our determination is there. By adapting our strategies and leveraging the strengths of both our naval and ground forces, we'll continue to push forward, securing victory, one territory at a time. Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to the Chinese campaign, episode 51. It's by far the longest campaign I have run so far. Now, we're currently looking at this Lord of Chains class battleship. The reason I'm looking at it is because I have had it with these 20s. They are proving to be utterly unreliable, in the sense that you never quite know if they're going to overpen, underpen, do any kind of reliable damage, or just completely miss. So, they're going to go. I do want to keep the battleships around, because they are good platforms. And I really don't want to spend a lot of time rebuilding a new ship, because just refitting them is probably going to take, what, up to 6 months? Whereas rebuilding a whole ship, like building a new one, is going to take upwards up to 36 months. So we're not doing that. What I'm considering going with is a couple of 16s. So almost a Nelson-esque design in that line of thinking. And I might actually give these quadruple barrels, because this is about 6,000 tons per. And if I can get these things to go broadside, this is going to give me a lot of firepower. The only tricky thing is I want to try and get them to all be free spinning turrets, so that I can turn them around with any kind of haste, because 1.33 degrees per second is not great. Turret rotation speed is already maximized, so there's not a whole lot I can do about that. Autoloaders, I still don't have autoloaders too, so that is not particularly helpful either. But a refit time of 7 months. It's quite long, unfortunately. Let's push this slightly back. Yeah, there. If I do it slightly different, and I put this turret here, and then a barbette, maybe I can condense the space required somewhat. But probably not by that much. Turn this thing around, so I know how much it needs. No, that's too close to the turret. Yeah, okay, that ought to do the trick. So you're going to sit there, you're going to sit there. And this way, unfortunately, the C turret... No, actually there. Now it's free spinning. So all of these can turn fully, giving me 12 16-inch guns, and also still giving me 9,000 tons to play around with. That means I can make these things faster. I can also up the amount of secondary firepower that they have. Because right now, they have these 8-inch dual barrel guns. Not a bad gun, by any stretch, but I can probably do a little better. I can probably go with more of these barrels, because right now I'm using a 380-ton turret. I can go to 699 tons. And that is going to give these a lot of power to deal with cruisers. Because cruisers and destroyers are things that I absolutely do not want to get close to this ship. They will start melting off the crew. They're going to start throwing torpedoes in your face. They will do all sorts of nasty things to a battleship this size, and especially this weight, which is completely incapable of getting out of the way. So with this, I have, let's say, a heavy cruiser. Well, maybe more than one heavy cruiser strapped to each side, as I now have 12 8-inch barrels per side. That should be a nice addition to the level of firepower that I have. I wonder if I can also add a couple of 2-inchers on top of guns. Yep, there we go. Why? Oh, I don't know. No particular reason. I will not add one to the A turret. For the simple reason that if I do that, I think it's going to mess with this turret. Yep, you can see that it now has this little impediment to its firing arc. And I do want to have that thing super firing. As for quadruples, some people hate them, some people love them. Sometimes they get a better rate of fire, sometimes they get a worse rate of fire. You never quite... There are probably optimal situations. In this case, I don't really care for that. Holy crap, that makes this thing expensive. I am not doing that. 6.7 billion for a warship is as expensive as I am willing to take. The more I add to it, the more it's going to start suffering. In the sense that it's going to get very, very difficult to recoup a loss of one of these ships. And that is still a possibility. So let's up the armor. Let's make these things as difficult to sink as possible. So we're going to go with 20, 20, 20. And then let's say a 12-inch main deck. Actually, let's give me, what, 15-inch there? A 15-inch forebelt and stern belt is definitely no joke. 8-inch foredeck, 8-inch aft deck. 20 inches on the conning tower. Turrets are fine the way they are. I can increase the barrel length, but I think that's going to mess with, with the positions that these turrets are willing to take up, as well as their rate of fire. So I'm not going to do that. As for their capabilities, with armor-piercing capabilities at, let's say, 15 clicks, 3.5 inches, it's not a whole lot. I can still give these things normal shells and maybe give them capped AP. That should increase my punch a little bit to 4.5. And over here, I think I have enough. So 100,000 tons. I can add still a little bit more. Maybe I can increase the internal armor. Casemate. Nope, that's Citadel armor. Here we go. So let's go with another, 8-inch inner belt. Good lord. 8-inch inner belt. Give me another 4 inches of inner deck. No, it's too heavy for that. Okay, 3. Even 3 is a bit much. 2.5. And then if something punches through that, it's going to have to go through another inch there. And maybe we can just finish it off here. There. Okay, so this is going to take 8 months to refit, but as I mentioned, still preferable over having to build another one of these ships, because that takes 30 months. Far, far, far longer. I really hope that this 16-inch, let's say, Super Nelson is going to do well. It's a bit of a Swiss Army knife, ideally, in the sense that it can engage the Italian battleships as well as the Italian escorts. Torpedoes are still a concern. I only have anti-torp 1, but hopefully if I'm able to get this thing defended / screened by a couple of maybe destroyers or light cruisers, that should be enough to keep this thing safe. As for actually refitting these ships, my shipyards are very busy. It's 1.2 million tons and I only have 784,000. This is because the ships that were working on the Ancona invasion have all come home. Mostly in tatters, so with the building of new ships, especially for the export market, as well as repairing a whole bunch of my existing ships, it's not like I have a whole lot of shipyard capacity at the moment. Which means that not only will the construction take longer, but also the refits will take longer. There's no real short, well, let's say a quick ship that's going to come off the dock, well, except for the Sunsyke over here, which is another one of those 20-inchers, which is going to go right into refit. All these exports are going to take long. Fortunately, repairs are looking pretty decent here. 2 months, 2 months, 1 month. We'll have the shipyards at least somewhat freed up pretty quick. But before that, we are still working on escorting. And so are the Italians. So we have the battleship Stella Maris, which is one of those, let's say, battleship tanks with 14-inch guns. The battlecruiser Lin Yi with her 18-inchers, as well as light cruiser Zhu Cheng, is going to have to engage. Hopefully, I can distract the battleship for a bit, allowing the Lankygid class to get in. have the light cruiser take the convoy, and then disengage. We are once again finding ourselves in a bit of a bad sea state over here. It is very misty, although that's not considered really a sea state. Apparently cloudy weather is what we're looking at. Yeah, cloudy and a half. I have the Zucheng. This ship can race ahead at 31 knots. The other one can do just about similar, but is only doing 27.3. I have already damaged this battleship somewhat, but I'm not really here for the battleship. I'm here for all those juicy convoy ships. Because if I cannot engage Italy in a straight-up fight, because my battleships are out of commission, I can always go after their economy. Because I have quite a few ships, and I also have the capacity of just nibbling away at their convoys. Unfortunately, this is not something that in this game has a direct effect on the Italian economy. It's not like you're able to, for example, steal supplies that are going to be going to the shipyards and thus setting back the construction of an Italian warship by a couple of years. That's unfortunately not how that works. Nevertheless, it is something that in the long run might decrease the Italian naval budget, causing them to potentially start overspending, going into a spending frenzy and either causing a revolution for the whole Italian empire, or to some extent a revolution for the Admiral. Now I am 17 clicks out. The Zucheng has torpedo launchers, so let's put those into the fight, because I know that those 18-inch wielding ships of theirs, they are capable of blocking torpedoes. They get anti-torp 5. These things only have anti-torp 1. They're very heavily armored, to be sure, but their torpedo protection is a bit limited. So that's where my answer lies. Now I hope that Zucheng is going to launch fairly soon, because this Italian ship also has a hefty, unhealthy amount of secondary guns. 8.5s and 18 7-inch guns. No thank you very much. Torps away. Smoke right out. Try and get around the ship and have it the convoy. Now, as the battleship seems to be interested very much in taking shots at my light cruiser, this is actually somewhat good news for Ligny. Although, well, I'm not so sure if the... Like, what are you shooting at, specifically? Zucheng, can you engage this convoy? 28 clicks, and that's way too far away. You can only do 17. So let's start angling away a bit. Ligny has good accuracy. I like that. Let's slow her down a touch more. Those torpedoes should be getting here. Crap, that was one of them. We did land one torpedo hit, but that's not necessarily going to do a whole lot. But it will inflict damage instability, messing with their accuracy. Oh yeah, they're definitely engaging the Ligny over here. Alright. I'm not sure why we're firing our HE, because this thing is a tank of a ship. HE's not really going to cut it. We need to come up with something far more punchy. 18-inch armor piercing. Come on, baby. Yeah, 7 partial pen. Isn't that nice? You are still way too far away. Now, if this battleship's going to continue sailing away from me, I'm perfectly fine with that. Because my objective lies to the northwest. And if that means that that battleship, which is not quick, won't catch up, perfectly fine. So let's increase the flank again. Do some damage on our way out. If we can inflict some flooding, that'd be great, because these things are slow as is. And in this current sea state, they're probably going to be slowing down even more. 17.7, thanks to flooding. They can be happy they don't have any engine damage yet. Ideally, that'll happen fairly soon. Their structural integrity has really taken a hit here. Their A turret and B turret are looking pretty messed up, but functional. That, the secondary gun, the 8-incher, is definitely not functional. Ligny at 84%, holding steady. She should be able to hold it together. Now at this point, yeah, we're getting there. Don't torp anything. If we can sink this thing, that'd be more interesting in the long run, well, in the short run actually, than sinking the convoy. Just something that might take me too much damage to the Lin Yi. Because I feel like the Italians have a lot of ships available still, a lot of battleships. They are potentially building a whole lot more. I'm also building battleships, but they're not for me. And as such, I can say to my allies, well, sorry, you're not getting the battleship, I need it. But they might not be my allies for much longer after that. And the last thing I need right now is for one of my allies to, well, which has access to some really big guns thanks to me providing them, to go, well, you know, maybe the Chinese aren't all they're cracked up to be, and maybe we should change sides. In which case I'll be fighting one of my own ships. That would be bad. So I don't want to take away the production capabilities that I'm using for, let's say, export ships. But by the looks of it, I might not have to. Stella Maris is getting really badly hurt by those 18s. Buoyancy dropping. The crew has taken some serious losses, and with those cramped quarters that the Italians are, well, somehow sticking to, they're really paying the price. Damage control, reload, everything is going to suffer. Zucheng, you should be able to have a little feast over here. Yeah, excellent. I don't need to manage you anymore. You can just go off. Alright, Lin Yi. Let's engage this battleship and put her down. That's one of the transports. Lin Yi's taken some damage, about 20% crew loss. Structural integrity is fine. 76% is far healthier than their 34%. But I'm a little scared of all the secondary guns. Wait. Their secondary guns are gone. So we're just getting hit by 14-inchers? That's surprising. We're getting overpens. I think I might have wrecked that ship so much that it's not necessarily in my best interests to be using armor piercing anymore. So let's switch. High explosive it is. Get a couple salvos of that in. Maybe knock out some crew members. Or maybe not pen anything. Main tower's been destroyed. There goes the rest of your damage control. And again. 28%. Ooh, the Lin Yi's suffering at 62% right now. 60. Versus this ship's 25. That was a $2.2 billion ship versus my 1.8. Good lord, this thing is getting smacked around. Come on. Yep, another 5k. This is adding up very nicely. All of that flooding, none of the crew. I think they're gone. Well done to the Lin Yi. As for Zucheng, she's making her way, pretty much trailing directly line of front, or, well, steady as she goes, and picking off one transport after the other. I think this might be the last one. Yep, we're done. The battleship and the convoy sank pretty much at the same time. Very nice. 20,000 victory points, 10 transports, no longer with us, but more importantly, the Stella Maris, another one of those battleship tanks, gone. The Spanish, apparently, despite me blocking their economy, still have enough money for a battleship. Not just any battleship. This thing displaces 72,000 tons and comes in at a price of 7 billion. It's not surprising, because she's sporting 19-inch guns, has a top speed of 32.5 knots, and she has 28 7.5-inch guns. This is not going to be an easy ship to get rid of. Thankfully, maybe I can sneak up to her with a lot of those DDs and pump her full of torpedoes. The battleship that the battle cruisers that I have are the Hawaii, which I don't want to rely on, and the Demos, which is an older ship, it's a Chengdu, capable of laying waste to the enemy with only 12.9-inch guns. But hey, it's not unusual to have the enemy ships get designed with really big guns, but almost no armor. If that is the case, the 12.9s are just going to be what I need, and the 14-inchers will hit very hard. Let's see. And here we see the Spanish battleship. 6 19-inch guns in an ABX format, lots of secondary guns along the superstructure, 2 funnels. Yeah, this thing looks like a fairly serious threat. I am, well, interested in seeing what sort of crew they have. I'm already seeing they got a 3rd grade gun, which means it's not going to be that good of a gun. It doesn't really have the best reload, it doesn't have the best accuracy. Stuff like that does come into play. As for the sea state, it is quite favorable to the Spanish. There's smooth sea waves, there's a light glare, but nothing too serious. They're cruising at decent speed, so they get a cruise speed bonus. I do have long range tower and tech, but it's only 4%, so I'm not exactly... Or actually, of course, that increases once you actually start to slide over to a target. That is really far away. When does that bonus top out? Tops at about 50 kilometers out, giving you 110% bonus. Isn't that lovely? Time for the Hawaii and the destroyer group to make their way over to the target, because 50 kilometers, yeah, we're going to be underway for a while. A little later, I'm engaging some of the escorts that the Spanish have. At least they didn't think to send this battleship out alone. They have a very scary looking light cruiser. This is something that I would very much like to keep away from my destroyers, because 18 6-inch guns are going to do nasty, nasty things. The ship does seem to be a very narrow, sleek hull, which does mean it's not going to be a great firing platform, and maybe that's going to cut into their accuracy. For now, my DDs are safe. Their range of fire is only about 15 kilometers. Now, as for the Spanish battleship, ow, that was a 7.5-inch shot originating from, what, you? Oh crap, that... What? I saw something was on low fuel, but apparently it's the DD. I thought it was the battleship. My bad. Yeah, I should be torping this thing. Right about now. So let's go do that then. Everybody smoke yourself up. And start torping. We're only engaging at a range of 24 kilometers now with these combined approach speeds. We actually got into range very much faster than I was expecting. So let's get the torps out. And with this decent spread of a formation, I can probably get a good wall of skill out there. Yep, torps away, 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 away. Excellent. Now I'm going to have the DDs try and get somewhat more out of range, because those 7.5-inch guns extend to 17 kilometers. So we're just in there. Should allow me to get out of there, and ideally soon. What the fuck? Thanks for that, Sun Mengsha. You just murdered a teammate. Fucking AI. Well, that was fun. That's a way to lose 219 million because of your own ships. There we go. Now, this looks pretty decent. Unless this ship changes course drastically. And I don't think that they strictly have a reason to do so. They should start eating some torpedoes. Now, the Sun Mengsha, I'm going to scrap her just out of spite. Because I hate it when ships torpedo each other. I absolutely despise it. I mean, if the AI does it, fine. But if the AI does it to me, not fine. As for this ship, we only have 56% ID. So I have no idea how likely or unlikely I am to start penning this thing. What I do know is that if I start taking hits, for example on Hawaii, it's gonna hurt like hell. Because the Hawaii only has 5.5-inch armor. The most of her armor is on her main deck, and of course her 14-inch turrets. So let's hope that they don't hit anywhere but the turrets. Let's hope that Hawaii is going to survive for a little while longer. As for this Spanish ship, they just took a hit right through the funnel. Funnel is part of superstructure, and apparently the superstructure isn't particularly heavily armored. Yeah, this is going to be fun. So maybe the superstructure is a weak spot, not the only weak spot. Reload time? Yeah, about 15 minutes, 17 minutes, I think. Oh, we blocked a shell? Did we really? Let's not get the Hawaii into the range of the 7.5-inch guns, because even they might be able to pen the ship. The Demos... Yeah, I'm going to split the ships up here. The reason for that is that the Demos also has torpedo launchers and could be useful. They're torpedoes 21-inch, but 15 kilometers out, so we need to get a little closer. Right about now... Oh, damn it, you're too slow? Did you slow down or something? What the hell? You're supposed to have a meeting with all of those. They must have changed course. They didn't slow down. They probably just changed course just slightly over the port, allowing them to arrive to this destination sooner. But too soon. As far as I'm concerned. Too soon. How much armor does this thing have? Still can't tell you. Oh, main tower destroyed. Not bad. Torpid. And then continue on a turn to starboard and launch the torpedoes from the other side. The Hawaii did take some hits. Nothing too serious. Pen? On the fore belt? Okay. My theory that this ship is not very heavily armored is growing more confident. Come on, dude. Torpid when the torping is good. Thank you. Now continue on your turn. I really like that their fire control has been damaged, and ideally this ship is going to get crewed by cadets, so that it doesn't really have the capacity to accurately shoot or control damage. 88%. They're losing a lot of crew with all that main tower getting destroyed over and over and over again. Yep, second set of torpedoes from the Demos launched. Hawaii is angled away, although I'm not sure if a 19-inch shell is going to particularly care about your angling. %98 ID. Come on. Tell me what you have. Nothing. 1.8-inch forebelt, somehow a 5-inch aft belt, but that main belt at 17 inches is a lot. That's a hefty, hefty armor belt. Regular crew training, anti-torpedo protection 3. They are looking at modern armor 1. Their fire control's been damaged, leading them only to about 18% accuracy, versus 68 that I have on the Demos, and 18% that I have on the Hawaii. Looks like once again the torpedoes from the Demos are missing. Unfortunately. Yeah. Which can also make that second spread just go completely off course. Yeah, so bow and stern are fair game. Main tower is good. Funnels. But, well, main belt is going to be difficult. Nevertheless, the ship has taken a lot of structural integrity damage. Where's that other torpedo spread at? Hello? Anybody seen about 10 torpedoes? 21-inch? Guess not. Okay. I'm going to make a slight course correction to port with the DDs. They're about halfway through the reload, and I don't want to have them to come back for a very long time. Hawaii is a bit too far from the battle right about now. Oh, piss off. There's still the issue of the convoy. The DDs are throwing shells at the battleship? Are they really? Yeah, they are. Okay. Keep at it. How much armor does that light cruiser have? None. You're gonna take down the light cruiser. All together now. All together now. I think this battleship is going down. Many bulkheads, cramped crew quarters. Locked. Demos taking some hits. Demos is not very expensive, is it? 438 million. My heavy cruisers are more pricey than that. 792 for the Hawaii. But the upside is enormous, because if this thing goes down, it's 7 billion. Also, this thing probably can't catch me. It's a DD with low fuel, so I'm not concerned. As for the DD, boys, we're going to take down this light cruiser. Isabel Francisca. $400 million worth of light cruiser. Minus 8.9% beam. Okay, and they've taken an interest in the battle cruiser. I don't think you'll do a lot of damage there. But if you want to have a go, I mean, by all means. I'm a little concerned about this ship here. Put the secondaries on the Francisca. Ow. Damn it, that's the torpedo launchers. Come on, dude. Your time to pitch in. Look, your shells are not at such a flat arc that you need to be worried about the demos right now. I refuse to believe that. Put your secondaries on the destroyer. My DD's doing anything? Battleship is suffering from a lot of flooding right about now. Need to start turning to port. I want to end up about here. If I end up here and I torp, I might accidentally run a torpedo into my own ships. If I end up here and torp, the torpedoes are going to go there. And there is less risk to torpedo my own ship. Not zero, but less. Speaking of torp risk. Would you know anything about that? Escanio? Cute little thing. Very standard DD design. Doesn't make it any less dangerous. 58% structural, 44% buoyancy. Scratch that, 42, and dropping. The DDs are punching holes in the light cruiser. Demos with the fast-firing 12-inchers firing every 30 seconds. And putting quite a lot of hurt on that battleship. Yep, most of that damage by far came from the Demos, the 12-inch gun battlecruiser. Oh, they got a flash fire. That's the end of the 19-inch guns. No more ammunition was found. Outstanding. Now that light cruiser is also suffering a lot. Many bulkheads. This time around they did give the crew spacious crew quarter, so there's a lot of crew aboard. But with no armor, well, you're gonna suffer. It just won't last very long. San Pedro is 23% buoyancy. They have it under control. They're getting buoyancy back. I think Hawaii is very reluctant to fire. Oh, there we go. DDs are almost through their reload cycle. Standard formation, please. That light cruiser is getting completely torn apart. By the 8-inch guns, I should say. Not by the 5-inchers from the DDs, by the 8-inch guns. Okay. Flooding. That was what, 12-inchers? No, that was 14. Yeah, that was 12-inchers. Aft belt pens. This ship has done amazing. Considering her firepower. She only has 6 12-inchers. Not much more than that. But she's kind of the sole reason that this ship is going down. I love it. Okay, torpedoes are now ready. The light cruiser has gone down. Maybe I don't need the torps. This thing... Yeah, you're listing over. You can't use your guns. Okay, so you're just waiting to die. That's good to know. Please put some more torpedoes... Oh, sorry, put some more guns on this ship. Before it decides to become another torpedo threat. Thankfully, this thing is running low fuel, because it's only doing 20 knots because of that, as opposed to normally 35 knots. Yeah, the crew is dying pretty quick now. 37.5%, 0.7, 0.8. Peppering from 5-inch guns can be really annoying when you're in a battleship. Because it doesn't necessarily do a ton of damage, it won't kill your buoyancy, but it will kill your crew. Much faster than you'd like. $41.5. 42. 42.5. Come on. Get rid of it. I have to send the DDs on to deal with that destroyer over there. Thankfully, they still haven't tore. Put the main guns on that. And start slowing down a bit. I need you maneuverable. Even the 3.9s are adding in. Yeah, they've done some damage already. There you go. Battleship surrendered. Job well done. Now, let's get rid of the DD. That might end the battle, and otherwise we'll just have to track down those transports that we, I guess, originally came here for. Yeah, you're gone. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to hunt down the transports. So, 1 battleship down, a light cruiser down, a DD, and 9 transports to boot. With the loss of 1 destroyer. The hands of the Sun Meng Sha. Nicely done. So, 84,000 victory points, although victory points against this Spanish situation I don't really care about. Normally, I love victory points. They're bargaining chips, they're resources. They allow you to get territory at the end of the battle, the end of the war. The Spanish are different. The Spanish don't have any territory. They don't have any colonies that they're willing to part with. They probably also don't have any money that they can transfer it into. And, well, as far as I'm concerned, by the end of this war, there won't be Spain. There will just be more of China. So in this case, the victory points, I don't really care about. 1 month later, funnily, the British are threatening us that they will declare war on us if we do not show a sign of reducing tension. With what navy, Britain? Like, really, what is the worst that you can do to me? Oh, Germany and Italy at war. This is fun. This is fun. The Germans and the Italians are probably going to have a land war. And on top of that, we're probably going to see some naval engagements. And I really enjoy having some help from the Germans to deal with those Italian battleships. Also, we're now at war with the British. Yeah, I am going to look into what the British actually have. Because I think it's not much. No, sorry, you can't order anything. There we go. Southern Spain of Spain has been conquered. I have lost 21k. They have lost 166,000 men. I have also gained control over Italian Somaliland. The Spanish are not getting control of Madagascar. And yeah, I don't care about the SGS's high position. How are we doing? This invasion has not moved an inch, apparently. This one has moved. It's not that interesting. British East Africa, 1.4 billion. Yeah, this is more interesting. Tanganyika. The port of Tanga and the port of Dar es Salaam. We're going to send these ships over there and pay the Italians another visit. Alright, now that's done. What did the British have? Like, really? 2 battle cruisers, 2 heavies, 4 lights, and 5 DDs. Okay, cool. And they're going to be... They're not going anywhere. Not with the heavy cruiser. I'd love to invade southern England. It's not... Like, it's a shadow of what it used to be. Economy-wise. But it has a 633,000 ton port. The port of Barry is not that big, so maybe I can invade Wales. And from there, possibly some more territory? Northern Ireland, Ireland are both Irish territories. They're not British anymore. The British army lodge is 10%. Yeah, okay. The Spanish are at 1%. Cute. As for the Spanish, we've taken over western Spain. So the Spanish only, as far as I'm concerned, hold southern Spain and northern Spain. And both of these are very, very, very minor territories. Like 900 million is what's left of the Spanish economy. Territories held 3. 3? 1? Oh, sorry, I've taken over southern Spain, not western Spain. So western Spain, northern Spain. And then there's supposedly a bit more of Spain, but I'm not too sure where that is. Anyway, that'll have to wait till a future episode. For now, thank you for watching, hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more videos on Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts.